Hey guys, what's up? It's Erin here, and today's video is going to be my 2-month experience as a seller on Poshmark. I'm going to dig into my stats as well as what that has totaled out in terms of what I've got paid and if I think it's worth it or not. So first things first, I have had a Poshmark account since 2014. Apparently, I didn't even know that, but I was just started being active on it in late January. So after we returned from vacation, I started kind of clearing out my closet and pulling my own personal items out and listing them on the Poshmark app. But then I got this idea as I was listing things, and I was like, maybe I could turn this into, you know, a side gig for myself and I could make a little bit of extra money. And I love fashion, so I feel like this would be really a good thing for me. So I bought a couple mystery bundles off a local seller, and she was selling 3 giant garbage bags of clothing for $100, and she had listed some of the brands that were included. I got so many items, and the majority of them were in very good condition. I did have to throw out probably about 10 items that were just not, you know, even in sellable condition. They weren't even anything that I would have liked. So I ended up selling them off, and some of them are still rather low priced items. However, this got me to where I could build my closet up pretty big. So I currently have 147 available listings in my Poshmark store, and I have sold 41 items in 2 months. And for me, that feels pretty good. Now, I feel like the bulk of those all came in a very short time window, probably about 3 weeks. And then here in the last 2 weeks, it's really died off, but that could also be a correlation to the effort that I've been putting in, as I've been putting in a little less effort just based on some of my stats, which we'll dive into. So I have 147 available items, and those are valued at $2,282 if every item in my closet sold at the price I have it listed with no adjustments to shipping costs. Now, that is highly unlikely. The majority of my sales come from either me making an offer to people who have liked my listing, so minimum 10% off and at least a $2 shipping discount, or it's from people who are making offers to me and we go back and forth with counter offers until we reach an agreement. So no matter what, I usually end up losing a little bit off the top. So I've sold 41 listings for a total of $379 in the past 2 months. Now that may seem like it's pretty good, but when I broke it all down by the hours that I'm spending putting in, the numbers are kind of sickening and may make you rethink if you want to become a Poshmark seller or not. So while I didn't keep track of my hours that I spent actually photographing and editing and listing my photos on Poshmark, I did kind of do a rough estimate based on the number of items I listed here recently and how long that took me. So based on the idea that I have had 188 items for sale, that means I have photographed 188 items. Some of them I have edited, some I have not, but I've made listings for all of them. And my average, I think, would be about 12 hours that I've spent. Now, on top of that, it's not just listing times. I have also been spending about an hour to an hour and a half a day sharing my entire closet to my followers and to parties, and then also sharing other Poshers listings. Whew. I am pulling up my calculator to do the math. So I'm doing 12 plus 90, which is 1.5 times 60 for 2 months. So 60 days, an hour and a half a day equals 90. So in the past 2 months, I've spent 102 hours working on Poshmark, you know, trying to make a little bit of side income. So now we are going to take the amount of money that I've made over that time period, so 379 divided by 102 hours, and that will give us our hourly rate. So I am currently sitting at a solid $3.71 per hour. So almost half of minimum wage. So that right there alone does not make me feel very happy, and it actually really makes me feel very worthless in the time that I've been spending doing this. It means that I know that I could be spending my time doing something better. Now, if you are just getting on Poshmark just to sell your own clothing out of your own closet and you don't have that many items, I don't think that it would be such a big deal, because you are going to be selling a smaller amount of items and there might not be that big rush to sell them. Where when you are buying things and you have money already sank into it, you want to be returning a profit pretty quickly. Also, Poshmark's algorithm likes when you list new items, so they would prefer people who are listing 5 to 10 plus items per day. So if you are listing 5 to 10 items a day, that also means that you are spending additional money to acquire those items and time to go out and source and photograph and list those items. So it's just something to keep in mind, and something that has kind of pulled me away and made me rethink if this is something that I really want to follow through with. I've done a lot of reading on forums. I've watched a lot of other YouTube videos. There are a lot of people who say that there are just highs and lows on Poshmark, the same as there is anything. And that may be true, but I still feel like the work that I'm putting in currently, I could be spending that time doing something else and making more money if that's my goal. Another issue that I ran into is that I jumped in headfirst into this way too fast and spent way too much money, and now I am definitely sinking. So even with $379 made, I have already sank that money into trying to improve this business. So initially I bought clothes that are now cramping up my downstairs closet. But I also then ended up buying a second clothing rack off Amazon that was around $50 to hang clothing on because I didn't have enough space. And I bought some other stuff that would go in my packaging. So I did buy some plastic bag packaging from Amazon. You can get free packaging from the post office for priority mail and things like that. So definitely keep that in mind if it is something you want. I've had to buy tape. I have bought some white tissue paper to wrap around my clothing items so that they arrive nicely and they don't get rubbed up on the boxes. And to match that, I also added little stickers that go on the top to keep it sealed. And then I also purchased thank you cards and a little sticker that goes inside of every thank you card that I send out with every purchase. So I have already been sinking money into something that isn't working. Now, this may be a personal problem and not everybody has this, but a lot of people who want to start a business are told by experts, you know, you have to spend money to make money. So there are people that are recommending them cameras and mannequins and clothing racks and steamers. And by the time you're all said and done, you're gonna already have sank $500 or $600, and it may take you 2 or 3 months to recoup your losses before you're even making a profit. That being said, it is fun. It's a cool app. I love shopping on there. It has actually been a bit of an issue for me just because you can use your balance from things you sell to buy things on Poshmark. So me, being a shopaholic, have spent almost my entire balance on clothes from Poshmark, so I've really made nothing. My balance should have been $379, but it is currently $131.93, and I have not deposited 1 cent into our bank account because I've spent it on Poshmark. With all that being said, I think that I'm going to start to kind of take a step back from Poshmark. I don't know as though I will completely remove my store or my listings. I do need to get rid of the clothes that I have because I have no space for them, and I don't need them in my own closet. But with that, I also am going to just take less time, so I may share in the evenings to the evening party that includes all different categories. But aside from that, I think I'm probably going to take a step back. I'm not going to be listing more items for right now, and just kind of see if at some point it does pick up, and then maybe reanalyze at that point. But as of right now, I just don't feel like my margins are good enough. Some people have had great success. I have not. I don't have a lot of sourcing options here in Montana. We don't have big outlets. We don't have big bins. We don't have any of that. We have 2 Goodwill stores in a 20-mile radius, and they're usually pretty slim pickin'. So there isn't a lot of options for super cheap things that I can buy and then flip for a big profit. But the big takeaway here is that if you want to be a seller on Poshmark, I am 100% for it, and I say you should go for it and at least give it a try, but don't sink a ton of money into it before you realize if it's good or not good for you. And try to find items that you can get that big profit margin in. So if you can buy something for $3 and sell it for $30, that's a great profit margin. But if you buy it for $3 and can only sell it for $10, and you have to include, you know, your fee to Poshmark, which is $2 and some change, I think, you're already lessening that profit margin even more. So make sure you're picking items that you can get cheap, you don't have to put a bunch of money into, and that you can sell for a lot. And then hopefully you'll be a lot more successful than I am. If you would like to see the things that I have bought on Poshmark with the clothes that I've sold on Poshmark, let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to do a try on for you, or if you have any other questions about Poshmark that I can answer for you, I would love to. Just let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more, and definitely head over to Instagram and follow me. I would really appreciate it. It's hard to grow a following on there, and I'd really like to, and I'd like to meet some of you guys, so go check it out.